So since you were gone, Mrs. Kobani and I wanted to give you some insights on what you missed on the lab observations. So you should have this in front of you. Turn to page 4. We're going to make some observations for the fresh and saltwater solar stills that you and your group created. Just to remind you what you made 2 solar stills. One of them had fresh water in the outer rim, and one of them had salt water in the outer rim. And now a couple weeks later, we'll see that all of the solar stills look a little bit different. The water's moved. We see condensation on the top of the saran wrap in all of them. So I'm going to unwrap the salt water first. Take off the rubber band and the marble. The marble's job was to make the saran wrap droop so that it precipitated into the middle cup to collect what we hope is the fresh water. So we're going to test that. So as I take off the saran wrap, first thing that I'm going to do is this condensation, I would assume, is fresh water because only the pure H2O will have evaporated and condensed on the top. So I'm going to taste that. And I don't taste any salt, so I'm going to assume that that's fresh water, pure, clean H2O. And then I'm also going to take a look at what I ended up with. I'm going to pull this cup out. And you can see that there is now more water in the middle cup that was not there before. Something that I wanted to show you is I did this experiment with just salt water and left it out uncovered, and all that we had left was salt crystals on the bottom because the salt was too heavy to evaporate while the fresh water evaporated. So right now, could you make your observation for what we saw just now under these 2 categories? The next observation that I want you to make is the freshwater one. Now, as I unwrap this solar still, the difference with this one is I did not have salt water in the outer rim. It was fresh water to start off with. So I'm going to assume that it's probably the same situation as the saltwater one. Condensation again, I'm going to give it a taste. Taste pure and fresh, so you can make that observation again as well. Same setup as well as the salt water. Mrs. Kobani, did you want to add anything in to that observation?
No, I think that your video is great, Mr. Moberg. Oh, there's my finger. The only thing that I want to finally point out, and Mr. Moberg did several times, is that you are going to be finishing your data table on page 4. You want to make sure that you have all of these boxes where it says experiment conclusion filled in. You're going to describe where you saw the water, how there was condensation on the plastic wrap and on the sides. You're going to talk about why this was happening using those words like condensation, precipitation, and evaporation. If you want to draw a picture, you certainly can. And you're also going to complete data table 2, where it says taste of the precipitation in cup. And what Mr. Moberg pointed out by licking the plastic wrap was that in both of our stills, even though we started off with salt water, we ended up with fresh water. Because during the water cycle, we purify water. We end up with fresh water, regardless of what evaporates.
Have a good break.
Yes.